Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Tzav, Parsha Shabbos Agadol. At the end of this week's Torah portion, we find the Kohanim charged to perform the service in the tabernacle. Kohanim are not only charged with the service in the tabernacle and eventually in the Beis HaMikdash, but they are commanded not to leave the tabernacle, the Mishkan, for the 7 days of the service during the inauguration of the tabernacle. This is how God stated the command in this week's Sedra. You shall not go outside the entrance of the tabernacle for 7 days until the day that your period of ordination is completed. For your ordination will require 7 days. God has commanded everything done today to be done over 7 days, to bring atonement for you. You shall remain at the entrance of the tabernacle day and night for 7 days, keeping God's charge, and by doing so that you may not die, for so I have been commanded. In his commentary to the command that the Kohanim can't leave for 7 days, the Ramban wrote the following. The Cohen should not leave the entrance of the tabernacle day or night until they finish the service incumbent upon them for that time. This is a mitzvah applicable to future generations as well. A Cohen must not abandon the service while it is still ongoing and walk out. And the punishment, if a Cohen does leave the service, is death. Like it says by the Kohen Gadol, he shall not depart from the sanctuary, and he shall not profane, which our sages said applies at the time of the service. This isn't the only time that Judaism requires people to remain in place. In the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law, the author, Rabbi Yosef Cairo, wrote that a person shouldn't leave the synagogue after morning prayers, after Shacharis, until and before reciting the prayer of Uval Tzion at the end of the service. This is important, wrote the Chofetz Chaim in his commentary to the Mishnah Berurah, because leaving prayers in the synagogue early is a demonstration of demeaning the prayers. The same pattern is found in the Shulchan Aruch and the Mishnah Berurah in a different place when they discuss the reading of the Torah in the synagogue. The halacha stated that people cannot leave the synagogue while the Torah is out of the ark. It is only once the Torah is returned to the ark that one is permitted to leave the synagogue. To leave the synagogue before the Torah is returned to the ark, while it is still out and inside the synagogue, would be demeaning to the Torah. In the same way, if a Cohen would have left the service during the 7 days of service, or during his service when the Beit HaMikdash is eventually built, it would have shown that he disparaged the service and thought less of it. He would have seen it as a burden instead of a privileged blessing to be used as an opportunity to connect to God and gain atonement for the Jewish people. In our lives, it's also important to recognize that sometimes our actions speak volumes and are much louder than words. Even when unintentional, our actions can demonstrate a demeaning attitude towards something we value. We must not only check our intentions, but our actions as well. Shabbat Shalom.